also thinking that other people had it better than I did because they knew all this stuff. They knew all about the Kundalini. They knew all about lucid dreaming. They knew all about extraterrestrials and the occult sciences and occult knowledge and everything, all about ancient Kemet. But in reality, just because they know that stuff doesn't mean that they're actually living it, one, and also because they know that stuff doesn't mean that it's inherently making their life any better. Because happiness, true joy comes from within. What's love and wholeness, y'all? It's Raz here, and today I'm just gonna jump right into it. So I wrote something down, just kind of journaling, and I wanted to share with everyone because I feel like this is something that really is very important for everyone. I mean, we're all going through a lot of stuff right now. I don't want to say all of us, but most of us are. So just keeping it real. And yeah, so let's get straight into it. So I'm just gonna be reading from my other phone right here. And if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. So start off, this is a vulnerable subject, but I need to express this fully and authentically in order to relay an important message. So this important message goes out to the collective as, just in general. And so with that being said, I send this out with the energy of love, wholeness, gratitude, and honor and respect. Ashe. So something that helped me back a lot in my journey was not being content with where I was at. And I held myself back by jumping from thing to thing to thing, trying to learn everything all at once. So I'm talking mainly my spiritual journey right here. I'm talking mainly learning things, figuring out what I really love, what I'm really interested in, what my passions are. And so I felt like I had to know everything that I possibly could in order to be at my highest level. I'd go from learning about Kundalini meditation or Kundalini to meditation, to extraterrestrials, to business stuff, to basketball, back to, the occult stuff and past lives and all this different stuff. So I'd be jumping from thing to thing to thing without actually sticking to one. And so I hardly ever stayed with one thing. I found the path that worked for me. And I didn't realize that it was a result of insecurity within myself. Being insecure within myself because I was comparing myself to other people who I saw, for example, online, or other people that I saw in person, speaking about various different topics with so much different knowledge, or so much vast knowledge. And so they appeared to have a lot of knowledge, and I wanted to prove to myself that I could keep up with them. But by trying to do that, instead of just choosing one path and growing from there, I held myself back. Now, I did stay consistent with certain practices such as meditation and lucid dreaming, although my environment has slightly hindered that in a recent past, but that's another video. And because I stayed consistent with meditation especially, it's been key for continued growth for me. But ultimately, if I would have chosen to be content with being ignorant and accepted the level that I was on, I would have been able to grow much more fluidly, because we're all ignorant to nearly everything, just being honest. We're all ignorant to nearly everything, especially when we're first starting our journey. But the ones who progress fastest are those who choose a path from the beginning that resonates with them and stay consistent with it. They develop the discipline, the diligence, and everything else that it takes in order to really master a degree of knowledge and turn that degree of knowledge into wisdom. And they do this while knowing that the spiritual path they choose doesn't have to last forever, because ultimately we're all just following the path that our highest self has already laid out for us. For example, I was born into a Christian family. Christianity served its purpose for me, and as I grew up from a child to a teenager, I started to really question everything. I started questioning everything and ended up leaving Christianity. I left the box of Christianity to be free from all the religion and just follow the truth that I really seek. And I found truth within myself and started learning myself through self-mastery. But that's where I started getting lost, because I tried keeping up with others instead of just focusing on where I'm at and what's best for me on my unique journey. And that's exactly what I needed to realize, that my journey is unique for a reason. Just because someone else has had their, Kundalini awakening doesn't mean that I have to prove to myself, or it doesn't mean I have to focus on having my Kundalini awakening so I can be on the same level as them. It doesn't work like that. This mentality is what people refer to as keeping up with the Joneses. So spiritually, that's what I was doing, trying to keep up with the Joneses. So recently, what I've been doing is I've been working a lot with deeper levels of trust, self-acceptance, faith, and self-worth. Doing this work is what allowed me to really see the flaws in my former self that I no longer carry forward. Now, I allow myself to be, or I'm sorry, I allow myself to be perfectly content with being where I'm at on my journey. Because if I'm not content with where I'm at, how can I ever make true progress and grow? A seed does not grow when it's constantly moved from one place to another. It needs time to sprout and time to grow its roots in one spot in order to reach its full potential. I look at myself in the same way. I choose where to plant myself, and then I grow from there. So here's what I did. And here's what I want you to do for yourself as well. I went into meditation and called upon my highest self, not just my higher self, my highest self, because I want what is best for me. My higher self could be just a version of myself that's barely above where I'm at now, just a slightly higher level version than where I'm at right now. And so I don't want that, which of course is key along the journey, but I want my highest and best version of myself. I want the highest and most best version of myself that I can be in every single moment. So I called upon that version of myself and I surrendered to him. I said, I surrender to my highest good. I surrender and accept the highest version of myself. I allow myself to be my highest self. I allow myself to embody the will of the divine creator. I allow myself to experience the life of my highest timeline as my highest self. Whatever is best, most healthy, and most beneficial for me, I accept it. I allow myself to live in my truth. I choose to be my highest self. I choose to live on my highest timeline, fulfilling my mission. I choose, I receive, I embody, I am. And by saying this with my heart, I began to align with it. And the more that I choose in the real time, in every moment, to be at my best and to do what is best for me, the more I become and fully embody my highest self. And the more that I embody my highest self, the more that my reality changes to support the decision that I've made for myself. So to sum this all up, it's not just about choosing a religion or choosing a way of life because you think it's what is best for you. No, it's about centering yourself. It's about choosing to be your highest self and then following the path from there. The path to your highest self will take you to different subjects, different beliefs, different ways of life, and anything else that is possible. But as long as you keep your faith in your highest self, knowing that you are being led to what is best for you on your mission, then you will be living on your highest timeline. You are fulfilling your purpose. It might not make sense in the moment, but why your intuition is leading you to certain things or why certain things happen to you, but it all works out for the best as long as you continue to trust yourself and trust in your heart. So trust yourself. Trust that you're where you are for a reason. Choose to embody your highest self. Stay in alignment with your highest self and watch how your life transforms. So love and wholeness to you. And with that, I just want to spend some time reflecting on that because it's been a little while since I've read over that. And I'm just recording this video probably like 2 weeks after I wrote that. And I just want to reflect live, just really drop into my heart space right now and reflect live so that you can see my internal process and that maybe it can either inspire you or maybe, it can help you just figure out how to actually do it for yourself. So whatever resonates best with you, take that. And so just dropping back into my heart, reflecting on what I just read, being content with where I'm at. I find this physically to be the case as well because everything happens spiritually first. But at the same time, if we're not content with where we're at physically in life, which I wasn't, and I haven't been in the past recent years, that is what caused me really to go down that route of discontentness, of being, trying to jump from thing to thing to thing, because ultimately, since I wasn't content with myself within my physical environment, I was trying to find things that would comfort me in different ways. And I mentioned keeping up with the Joneses spiritually. Yeah, doing that because I wasn't content. I wasn't happy with where I was at. I was discomfortable. I was uncomfortable physically. And that led to me trying to seek refuge in different places spiritually. And also thinking that other people had it better than I did because they knew all this stuff. They knew all about the Kundalini. They knew all about lucid dreaming. They knew all about extraterrestrials and the occult sciences and occult knowledge and everything, all about ancient Kemet. But in reality, just because they know that stuff doesn't mean that they're actually living it. One, and also because they know that stuff doesn't mean that it's inherently making their life any better. Because happiness, true joy comes from within. And I knew that up here, but I didn't live it in here. I didn't feel it in my heart. I had to feel it. And that only starts, you only really feel that in your heart by starting to accept where you're at, both physically and spiritually and mentally and emotionally, everything. Accept it. Accept it so that you can live it in here. Because in order to actually receive something, you first need to accept it, right? And so accept it and receive it and see what it has to say for you. Accept that I'm at where I'm at. Like for me, I'm in this, nice, beautiful house. This nice, beautiful home. It's not mine. Wish it was, but it's not. And being here, I'll just keep it blunt and honest, it's old and run down. It's a nice space and everything, but it's old and run down. So there's a lot of different stuff that needs to be fixed and needs to be renovated, to say the least. And I've been letting a lot of those things trigger me. Like, for example, ants showing up in the house, a lot of different spiders showing up in the house. And even just 2 days ago, I caught a lizard in the house. I don't know how many people have had lizards and stuff like that in their house, but I've seen a bunch of different stuff in here because they get in through cracks and there's a lot of different stuff, right? And I allowed myself to be so discontent that I started to reject my reality. I started trying to push it away. And the more that I did that, what happens when we try to, reject or push down or suppress emotions? They find other ways to come up, right? So there's always a way that I was being triggered because I was trying to reject my reality instead of just accepting it and embracing it. Embracing that where I'm at is very beautiful. Like, it's nice greenery behind me. You'll see some of my other videos where I'm sitting outside and you see the nice view in the background and everything. Like, it's a nice, beautiful area. But being discomfortable or uncomfortable and having consistent discomforts within this house, it tainted my view of everything. It tainted my experience. And spiritually, the same thing applies. Because if you're trying to chase after knowledge, going in one direction, then going in the other direction, then going behind you, and then going, that don't work. I mean, it works to know a little bit about a bunch of different things, but what's really going to lead you to enlightenment, what's really going to lead you to being your highest self, is picking one path. Trusting your heart with that one path and knowing that your heart is leading you to where you need to be. Because your intuition, your heart, your spirit, they're all speaking the same message. Maybe slightly different ways, but they're all speaking the same message. Your intuition, it might feel like that calm and steady whisper, that calm and steady voice that says, this is right for you, that's wrong for you. Your heart feels probably maybe more passionate. I'm just speaking from my own personal experience, right? Your heart maybe feels more passionate. It might be that joyous feeling that, yes, I'm doing this, this is my right path, I know I'm doing this, yes, that excitement, that fire. And then your spirit, it's more calm, kind of like the calm and steady but firm. I feel it is like a father figure, like the higher version of myself, the highest version of myself, like a father figure, kind of like, just kind of using earthly terms, but that figure that's always watching over you, that feeling, that aspect of yourself that's always guiding you in the right direction. Like, yeah, you can go in the wrong direction, but It's gonna gently guide you. Got the bumper rails like in bowling. You know how they put the guardrails up, so the ball bounces and it eventually goes to the pins, to the goal. Same thing with our spirit. Same thing with my spirit, at least. That's how I feel it. So the intuition to me is like that calm, steady, just like kind of relaxed voice that I feel kind of like in my gut area. That's why they always say trust your gut. Same thing. Intuition speaking through you or speaking to you through that. And then your heart, it's like the more fiery, more passionate, the more like loud voice. It's like when you really love someone, you fall in love with someone, there's no hiding it. There's no suppressing it. The heart, it knows. And so it's telling you, it's showing you, it's expressing that feeling all the time. And then your spirit, it's kind of like that overarching, just that higher version of yourself, the highest version of yourself. If you're tapping into that is just like the guardrails. It's protecting you, it's guarding you, it's guiding you all at the same time. So listen, trust, and obey. And I know some of us have a kind of a negative connotation with the word obey, because if you're like me growing up, you're into like conspiracy theories and stuff. And the word obey, it reminds me of, 1984, George Orwell. That's what it reminds me of. And I just had to rekindle my relationship with that word, because it depends on what you're obeying. If you're obeying an oppressive ruler, then of course that's terrible, that's detrimental for you. But if you're obeying your highest self, your spirit, your guardian angels, your guiding angels, the archangels, things that actually have your highest good in mind, that's great. That's wonderful, because that's healthy and that's beneficial for you. It's allowing you to grow into the best version of yourself. And so to even get on that path, you need to be content with choosing one path. And that's what I did. And to this day, I still don't know exactly what to call it, because it's guiding me ultimately to my highest self. And that's all it is. It's just the path of my highest self. I think that's the best I can put into words. The path of my highest self, because all I'm doing is fulfilling my purpose here in this life in the best way, in the most highest way that I know how to do it. That's in highest alignment with the divine creator, the will of the divine creator. So that is my path. And I find that I naturally align with Taoist principles. So Taoism, I naturally align with those, because I've kind of been living that lifestyle by those principles all my life. And that started with observing my father growing up, because kind of more like he's like very stoic. And I just, I incorporated that within myself as well. I grew up with bad anger issues, but just through observation, through learning through observation, by observing my father and learning from him, I started learning from a very young age that I don't have to react to my emotions. I don't have to react to the feelings, the anger that's rising up within me. I don't have to express that. It's a choice. And so I started working with that from a young age, and just just growing through that. And so with Taoism, a lot of it deals with the natural flow, the natural harmony, the natural rhythm of life. And that's what I love to be in, the natural flow of life, the natural harmony of what I call my highest self. Because when I'm in harmony with my highest self, I'm embodying my highest self. My highest self is in full, complete harmony and rhythm, and fully in sync with the good of the universe, the will of the divine creator. And that's what I align my life by. Because to me, doing what is right it's not really something you can express. It's just something that's felt. And let's say like there's a situation that arises where it calls for, like a dualistic decision to be made, either this or that. In making that decision, I would really just listen to my heart, trust it, because my heart is tapped in with the divine within everything else around me. It's because the heart has the biggest electromagnetic field of all the organs in our body. And so being that the heart is home to the sacred heart space, the space within us that is neither beginning nor end, not one, not zero. Well, really zero. They call it the 0 point, but it's no direction, no time, no space, not up, down, not in and out. It's just simply like the womb. It's simply zero. It's simply beyond potential. So tapping into that, dropping into that space within myself and feeling that in everything around me, that's how I let myself make decisions. Because when I get in my head, then that's when I fall into that trap of this or that, and I tend to overthink things, and then that's when I become indecisive. But when I drop into my heart, that singular space, that space of oneness, that space of wholeness, that's when I make the best decisions for myself moving forward. And really, that's how you're going to find your path as well. What feels best for you in your heart? Start by meditating and practicing dropping into your heart. Drop into your heart and feel that sacred heart space. Feel how calming, how serene, how divine it feels to be there. With a place where there's no time, no space, nothing to be done, nothing to be heard, nothing to be said, nothing to be expressed, but just be, just being. Allow yourself to sit in that and get used to it. Get used to that stillness. Just allow yourself to be in that stillness, to be. That's the key word, just be. So if you get used to living and operating from that space, like as you see and you can hear, my voice got so much more calm, my energy naturally relaxed by just being in that space. That's how you find yourself making the best decisions for yourself. So when you're searching for your path, ask your heart, ask your spirit, ask your intuition, ask your highest self. Ask and then listen, be still and receive. Because the answers, they always come to us when we're still. If we're trying to, if we're moving different places, rapid speed, consistently, constantly, always moving on the go, how are we ever going to actually receive what we really need to receive? Every once in a while, we will, because we just happen to be in the right place at the right time. But when you're in stillness, you receive everything that you need in that present divine moment. So find your path, be content with where you're at, be content with ignorance, knowing that we're all ignorant to literally most things in this reality. So be okay with that. Be accepting of it. Now, accept that you're at the beginning of your journey. Even if you've been on your path for 15 years or whatever, look at the present moment as a brand new beginning. Because looking at it with that perspective, life becomes so much more fun and enjoyable. That's that childlike curiosity that we can all embody so much more that will benefit us so much more. So I encourage you to sit in stillness. If you don't know what your path is, sit in that stillness. Ask yourself, ask your highest self, what is my path moving forward? What is the divine creator or God or Allah or whoever that you personally see as your highest self, whoever you personally pray to, whoever you personally see as that higher force, pray to them, ask them, talk with them, have a conversation with them, meditate, and then sit in stillness and wait for the answer to come to you. And I suggest writing it down as well. There's just a practice that I do pretty consistently, or I wouldn't say consistently, but pretty often, is just writing down while I meditate. Now, I've done a trance channeling session with one of my friends that was really cool. It was a different experience for me because it allows you to get deeper into that trance state. But usually when I meditate and I'm writing, I kind of stay more, not towards the surface, but just in a place that's comfortable for me to where I'm able to easily come out of the meditation and quickly write something down and then go back into it. So that becomes a practice and a skill that you develop. So I suggest you do that and listen to what comes to you and trust it. listen and trust, and like I said before, obey. And if you're already on your path, it's good to always reevaluate your path and your decisions and everything every once in a while. But if you're solid and stern on your path, then, like I said moments ago, embrace every new moment as just that, a new moment, a brand new moment. This is a brand new experience in time and space, really in just being that we're living, that we're experiencing, that we're having the pleasure to experience. So never look at it as a chore, always look at it with wonder, childlike wonder, where I wonder what could happen next. I wonder what good could happen next. I wonder how amazing this can be for me. I wonder how great I can be in this moment. Stuff like that. So enjoy yourselves. Much love to you, much wholeness to you, much gratitude to you. Love.